Warner Brothers Discovery has been facing a lot of problems in 2023, and they have had a lot of failures over the year, but now they are facing another massive issue with Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom that is finally going to be releasing this week, because it seems like it is going to be a massive loss for them, and Jason Momoa is pretty confident that he is not going to be returning for any other Aquaman films. But before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or via YouTube memberships. Now, of course, over the past couple of years, we have seen some massive movies release at the box office, especially after the lockdown. So there's not that excuse that they can really use anymore that, oh, the box office just isn't as strong as it used to be, because we have seen several movies make to $2 billion. I mean, money is money. And, of course, they are now facing another major disaster when it comes to Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Now, since this movie was really announced, it was kind of controversial because we were not sure what they were going to do about Amber, especially now after the trial and, the subsequent embarrassment that she faced from it, and she is one of the most hated women in Hollywood currently. But it seems like they didn't really want to remove her from this film. They wanted to keep her in it, and they are going to face a lot of criticism over that, and I think honestly a lot of boycotting. I mean, there have been petitions with millions of signatures. This one is the most viral, Remove Amber Heard from Aquaman 2, with 4.6 million signatures, which of course is a massive amount of people grouping together saying that they're not going to see this movie. And we don't know, maybe some of them will show up to see this film, but I think that it is going to face disaster and ruin at the box office because of the millions of people that currently hate Amber. But they went ahead, they kept her in it, and now of course, Aquaman is the next big release, which they are extremely worried about. It says the fact that their big DCEU superhero tentpole releases, The Flash, Shazam Fury of the Gods, and Blue Beetle, face planted with a combined $527 million and $175.6 million per film average, is a sign of a downward spiral barely disguised by Barbie's enormous success and a great deal of rearranging of deck chairs, large number of firing employees, canceling huge amounts of TV and streaming series, gutting available films and series on the Max streamer, shelving completed films, and generally infuriating artists and fans alike. Yes, I mean, the DCEU movies that have recently released have done terribly for them. I mean, a combined $527 million, that is what one good movie makes. But that was 3 combined movies that they were expecting to be massive hits. Like, look at The Flash. They marketed the hell out of that movie. They were really hoping it was going to do good and reignite interest in the DCEU, but that did not happen, of course, because they had a extremely controversial actor, Ezra Miller, part of that as well. They would have done better to shelve it, but they didn't. They went ahead with it, and they didn't really care about the backlash they'd face, and they lost money. But now it's Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom's turn to close out the DCEU after the shared superhero world's last 8 films over the 5 years have all failed to top 400 million, but the first Aquaman in 2017 was the last blockbuster DCEU release, and it took 1.15 billion in global receipts, so there's hope it might break the DCEU curse and leg out once again to a big successful run. And a lot of people have been hoping this. I mean, even James Gunn, even though we know that he is doing a lot of reboots right now, he has alluded to potentially bringing back specific actors and characters people like Aquaman. I mean, Jason Momoa has over the past few months been kind of teasing like, oh, he may actually return as Aquaman. And we all kind of figured if Lost Kingdom did really good, they would do one more movie with him, make it a trilogy, and kind of ship it that way. But I never really thought that this movie was going to do fantastic, especially, nowhere close to what they probably expect, which is the $1 billion mark given Aquaman 1, just because of Amber and all of the controversy. It says, though, the brand is definitely severely tainted now, so much so that it's even hurt the superhero genre overall, and Jason Momoa even recently sounded downbeat about the film's chances in interviews. I do not know why they sent him into interviews for this movie. I mean, I get that films need PR and they need interviews, but the problem is how he was acting in them. Like, he did not sound hopeful at all. And honestly, I think that even that probably is going to damage this movie, because it's not like you have a super passionate actor who's very excited about this. I mean, we had heard about a year ago that Jason Momoa had showed up drunk to the set when they were doing reshoots, dressed like Depp, trying to demand that Amber get fired from the project, that they completely cut her from the movie. I mean, at least one of the actors on this project had half a brain, because that is what people wanted. She, ruined her reputation, she lied, and ultimately she's ruined her career, seeing as she hasn't done anything else in Hollywood, and she moved away to Spain to hide away with her daughter because she is one of the most hated women in the Hollywood sphere. And it's really no surprise to see why. I mean, the industry blacklisted one of the most beloved actors, Johnny Depp, who has been in dozens of projects, simply because they wanted to believe a woman over a man. Hashtag me too. That's all they really cared about. But yeah, I mean, it seems at this point that Aquaman 2 is going to be a massive failure for them. And honestly, I'm glad they didn't listen to us at all. They didn't listen to suggestions that even actors were making, because we had heard that Jason Momoa had tried to give them some tips on some cool, like, scenes and stunts that he wanted to do. They didn't really care. And I get that this is the end of the DCEU, even though they have teased potentially bringing fan favorites back. So they want to close this off with a bang, but this is not the bang that people wanted. I mean, people expected them to continue the DCEU when they had announced Henry Cavill was going to return, and we thought that there was going to be some big feud between Black Adam and Superman, and potentially even bringing Wonder Woman back into the fray, but they just did not do that. They kind of abandoned all of those plans with Gal, and of course Henry they completely kicked to the curb multiple times, which is such a sad situation to see. And yeah, I mean, at this point, if they are not going to bring back fan favorites, they should probably kill off the DCEU. And of course, James Gunn is trying to do a lot of reboots, like he's doing the new Superman movie. But I just think that it's too soon, that it is going to, even if it releases in 2025, still be a negatively received film, simply because so many people have that bad taste in their mouths when it comes to, the Henry Cavills and the Jason Momoas. And it is sad to see, right? Because I really liked this cast of actors at the beginning. Henry Cavill, Jason Momoa, Gal, Ben. I loved them at first. I thought that the first few films in the DCEU were pretty freaking solid. And then, after the Justice League, everything just kind of fell flat and kind of fell off of a cliff. But yes, I mean, it does seem like at this point it is what it is. The DCEU is going to be over. They are not going to continue it. And I mean, Warner Brothers Discovery needs a box office Christmas miracle, and they were probably hoping that Aquaman 2 was going to be that, but it does not seem like that is going to happen. And 2023 in totality was a major failure for them, except for one or two select projects. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.